Today we're privileged to have Philip Hatfield here, and Philip is a motivational speaker with over 30 years experience both in the business world and in communities, working with entrepreneurs and great companies all across the country. But his expertise is realizing that people are the greatest asset and resources the companies and individuals have. As a Zig Ziglar certified presenter, Philip has spoken all over the world and can help us all achieve success. So please help me welcome Philip Hatfield.
Well, good morning. Did I blow you out of the room? Sorry, but I just can't stand behind that thing because it's kind of like a preacher, and I'm just not quite that guy. Now, how many of you guys expected to see a little short, fat, one-legged guy this morning? I didn't expect you to see a short, fat, one-legged guy this morning, too. And ladies, let me tell you, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I know I got the prettiest leg in the room. It's the sexiest leg. I've been told how wonderful it is. You know, Joe, and you just took the word right out of my mouth. Wow. You know, and I could say that backwards, too. Wow. Man, have you guys looked and seen, when I got here last night and I looked at the people, and it's the warm and the welcoming there, it's just like it felt like family. And I come in this morning, as I walk around and begin to look and see the interaction of what you're doing, it's like, wow, the name fits. And I'm just upset. Teresa, why didn't you tell me to bring my wife? Oh, yeah, and I have a lovely bride. By the way, that's what I call her. She's my bride. By the way, I call her my bride when I'm talking about her. When I talk to her, I call her sweetie. The greatest blessing of my life is my wife. Now, how many of you have ever heard me speak before, or this is your first time? Now, see, that's how you get 100% participation. Well, you know, it's a privilege to get here, be here with you. And I jumped on an airplane last night in Atlanta, Georgia, got here at 8:30. And as I told you, I met some nice ladies on the airplane. Where are you ladies that I met on the plane? There's one of them right there. Pretty nice, pretty warm, pretty welcoming. But as I began to come and find out what you were doing or what your organization's about, it's like, man, this is the best kept secret. Why didn't someone tell me about you guys? Man, this is what I like. And what a presentation. Man, when you saw those statues, man, of the replica of the Holy Land, what did that do for you? Wow. Wow, that just warmed my heart. Well, let me tell you real quickly. I'm going to tell you about this leg. A lot of people ask, they say they want to know, let me tell you about the leg. So I'm going to tell you, 7 years ago, November the 9th, 2008, I had a very bad accident. I had got up, went to church that morning, and I was riding my motorcycle that day and was going to go to do what we call it a biker hangout. Some people call it a biker bar. I know I'm not supposed to go to the bar, but we call it a biker hangout. But we were going to go that day. We was going to do a Christian concert. So a bunch of us bikers went there, and so we had a great time. At the end of the day, 7:24 in the afternoon, I'm riding my motorcycle. I'm going north. As I'm going north, there's 3 lanes north, 3 lanes coming south. As I'm going north, I see a car over there on the other side heading south. I saw it go across the white line and come back in. And as it did that, I looked right directly in the eye of the driver. You know, that's what you do if you're riding a motorcycle. You look at the eye of the driver because the eyes will tell you what they're going to do next. So as I looked at the eyes of the young lady, I saw her. She took and she slung her hair to the right, slung it back to the left, slid the cell phone up to her ear. She decided to make a turn. Thought she could beat traffic. Well, she still wasn't paying attention. She floored it. And as she did, I saw that I had to do something, so I slammed on the brakes. I hit the front brake, I hit the rear brake, trying to stop. First thing, I got hit in the rear end by a big Ford F-250 pickup truck. Didn't lose control, began to get it, finally start moving ahead. All of a sudden, bam! In a moment, in the twinkle of an eye, my life changed. Broke my back, all the ribs on my left side. My colon burst, my spleen burst. Literally physically burst open from here to there. From my chest all the way down to my navel. 27 breaks from here all the way down. My femur bone broke right here in the middle of this part turned sideways, and it wound up going up through my groin. So after about 5 minutes, I wound up going unconscious. But you know what happened? While I was unconscious in the hospital, I'd made a couple of calls just before I went unconscious. The guy in the ambulance says, here, take your phone, call somebody. Let him know he was trying to keep me late. Call somebody, talk to him. So as I was trying to call people, I didn't get anybody, so I just left a couple of voicemails. But what happened is after I got to the hospital, I'm unconscious, but they tell me there were almost 100 people there in the waiting room. And you know, people stayed. They kept coming and coming and coming and coming. I was in the hospital a long time. long time, long recovery. But you know the cool thing is, people I hadn't seen for 25, 30 years, and they still couldn't see me, and I couldn't see them. I was unconscious. But it was the relationships that had been built through all those years. Relationships that I didn't even realize that I was really building. You know, I'd always worked on trying to build good relationships, always never tried to burn any bridge. You know, how many of you ever burnt those bridges behind you? I did those a time or two many years ago, so I'll begin to learn, don't burn no bridge. You may have to go back over it. So I began to work on people. And you know what? I learned the most valuable asset in life and in business are people and relationships. Now, there was a book written a few years ago by a lady. Her name is Camille Livingston. How many of you ever heard of Camille Livingston? She wrote a book called You've Got 3 Seconds. She says our brain is so smart that within 3 seconds, we've made a decision if we like somebody or if we don't. Or if you're a customer, you made a decision if you're going to buy from them or not. So our brain is so fast, within 3 seconds, we've already begun to sum people up. How many of you believe that? Well, you say, well, Philip, I don't believe 3 seconds. Let's say maybe 30 seconds. Let's say 3 minutes. How many of you have been here for 3 seconds this morning? All right. How many? 3 minutes? All right, I've got an activity for you. I'm going to ask everybody. Now, my name is Coach. Call me Coach. Coach, come on. Now, are you going to do what Coach says to do? All right, so Coach says, number one, everybody stand up. Everybody stand to your feet. Now, I'm going to tell you, you've got 5 minutes. What I want you to do is I want you to walk around the room. You've already met a lot of people. Some people you don't know, some people you do know. You've got 5 minutes. You've got to find a minimum of 3 people. Tell them something you like about them and why. Now, I'm not talking about their purse, the shoes, his gorgeous tie, or the Ferrari parked out there in the parking lot. Something about them as a person. Ready, set, grow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what's your name?
Dixie Weiler. I'm from Ohio.
Nice to meet you, Dixie.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you.
I have to say, I like the way you talked about your wife.
Thank you.
I love that. I'm the same about my husband.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
I like your energy. I love your energy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, let's everybody come back together. Okay, let's everybody find our seat again. All right, all right. Let's everybody find our seat. Come on up. All right. Are you about ready? Are you about ready to grow? I didn't say go. I said, are you ready to grow? All right. Now, okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, remember, my name is what? Coach. Now, when Coach tells you something to do something, you usually follow directions, right? Okay, Coach has a question for you. All right, let me ask you a question. I need honesty. How many of you raise your hands for me? Okay, let me ask you a question. How many of you, someone told you something they liked about you didn't think about or you didn't realize? Can you raise your hand? Oh, keep holding the hands up. All right, I need some volunteers. Come right on up here. I need about 3 or 4 volunteers. 3 or 4, come on up. I want to know what someone told you. Come on and share. I need 3 or 4. Come on. Hurry up now. Coach going to call you out. Come on. I need 3 or 4 volunteers. What did someone tell you they liked about you didn't think about or realize before? Come on. I got 2. I need 2 more volunteers. All right, I saw more hands. Oh, I got 3 coming. Come on up stage. Oh, you got to come up stage. You got to come up with me. Oh, you got to come up with me. All right, 1 more. There you go. Thank you, ladies. Where are the men in the house? Come on. Thank you, ladies. All right, so come on. What did someone tell you they liked about you that you hadn't thought about or realized or maybe in a long time?
That I was reaching out and I was out there. And I think about myself as just being involved with the task, keeping my head down, and not really that connection.
How wonderful.
I live on an island, I'm isolated, and people let me know that they're seeing me and we can be in relationship.
How wonderful. Wasn't that fantastic? Wasn't that fantastic? Okay, what did someone tell you they liked about you?
She told me she liked my attitude, and that said a lot because we didn't know each other. So she had just seen me, and so I guess it showed.
Good. I love attitude. That's one of my favorite topics is attitude. And you look like you have a wonderful attitude. Fantastic. All right, come on up. What did someone tell you they liked about you? You haven't thought about or hadn't realized?
I was told that I had a fantastic smile and I had a great, energetic personality. So,
Oh, great. Fantastic.
the second part I knew.
Very good. Okay. Now, what did someone tell you they liked about you hadn't thought about or realized?
A lovely woman over there named Elizabeth told me I had a beautiful smile. So
Elizabeth, you're wonderful. Where's Elizabeth? Elizabeth.
She's right there.
Ah, there you go, Elizabeth. Okay, ladies, thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you so very much. Oh, do you want to share? Well, you're standing. Hey, Coach says come on. We're ready. So I got another question for you, okay? How did it feel? How did it make you feel for someone to tell you something they liked about you? How did it make you feel? Oh, I need 3 volunteers. I need 3 volunteers. How did it make you feel for someone to tell you something they liked about you? Yes, come on. See, they can't hear you if you don't come get the microphone. I need you. Come on, I need 3 more volunteers. How did it make you feel? Come on, I know you had feelings. You know, I saw the room all abuzz, and it was so neat because just like I said a while ago, when I begin to experience this room, it's like, wow, it really does feel like family. And I understand a lot of you may not know each other, but golly, it doesn't take a long time to get to know each other, does it? All right, I need 3 more. Come on, how did it make you feel? Oh, there's me another one. Oh, here's another one. Come on. How did it make you feel? Come on, men. I need some leaders. Where's my leaders in the room? Come on, Daddy. Come on down. Come on, Joshua and Caleb. Come on, big boys. All right, so I've got 3 ladies. So how did it make you feel for someone to tell you that?
Made me feel really, really good because this young lady said to me, she said, you look very successful. And she told me that I look like I am succeeding in my business. And I'm like, wow. So yeah, that's a good feeling.
Hey, that's a good word. I think Joe started out, wow, huh? Yeah. And you know, I can say that backwards too, wow. Isn't it cool? Very good, thank you. How did it make you feel?
I felt very special, and somebody told me, oh, you're a tour leader. I said, yes. And she said, you look like you know what you're doing. I said, oh.
Well, you didn't say looks could be deceiving, so did you say thank you?
I said, thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's always a proper response when someone tells you something. Say thank you. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Gave me a little warm feeling in my tummy.
Oh, you got the warm and fuzzies.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Isn't that neat? You didn't expect to feel that this morning, did you?
No,
And especially from a little short fat one day, you got kind of directly to the choir, huh?
you're right.
Very good. And what about you?
Well, I felt great. I was out there and I was talking to a young lady, and she was just so excited just to talk. And it just made me feel so good to feel her energy, all the exuberation that she put out. It was about something that she wasn't even interested in, sports.
Wow.
About last night's tour at Lambeau, but she was like the main person. So that made me feel wonderful.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Give them a hand. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Well, I got one more question for you. Think about it for just a second. How did it make you feel for you to tell someone else what you thought about them? How did it make you feel? Oh, well, I heard the word great. Who said great? Oh, great. Come on, any more words? How did it make you feel for you to be the one to tell someone else something you like about them? Oh, great. Fantastic. There you go. Come on, there's got to be more words. Well, we got 100, 200, 300 people. There you go. Now, there's my cheerleader. I like this lady. And what's your name? Judy, we love Judy. Okay, somebody else, give me some more words. How did it feel? Great, fantastic, fantastic. Made her feel alive, made her feel great. Come on, guys, give me some more. Coach says, give me some more. What? Effervescent. Welcoming. Yes. Wow, very good. Okay, somebody else, give me some more words. There's more than 3-4 words in the dictionary for this. Empowered. Wow, what a fantastic word. Guys, I wanted you to experience that this morning, because what we do a lot of times, we get to know people, but we really don't get to know people. When you think about it, we say hi. Some people go to business networking events, and what are they doing? They're passing out business cards. Well, I'll say that's networking, not working. You know what we need to do, you as a family and your travel family, as you pull together and bond together, really get to know each other. You know, I have a lady that I worked with one time, and I like her, but just some stuff just rubbed me raw. She just, one of those people is kind of like fingernails on a chalkboard. You ever experienced that? I love the lady, but just some mannerisms just wasn't there. So you know what I had to do? I had to stop. I had to think about it. I had to say, what do I like about her and why? Because you see, the secret was not that you just told someone that you liked something about them. You told them why. Now I get to do this event all over the country with kids, even large rooms, 5,000, 10,000 people. It's amazing the response that you get. I see cheers of happiness, cheers of joy, because just as the lady back there said, sometimes we never really express ourselves. And it's freeing when we express ourselves, tell other people what we like about them and why. And you know what? Even if there may be something you don't like about them, like the lady that I had to think about, you got to look them in the eye. You got to think of something good. And when you start thinking something good, it kind of keeps making more good thoughts begin to come. It's just kind of like making that list of the pros and the cons, the Benjamin Franklin close if you're in sales. And the more you start looking at the positive attributes of people, associations, organizations, businesses, it changes you. Now, I get to coach a lot of businesses, and I absolutely love it. And I was talking to a lady right here. She's an actuary with an insurance company. But you know what we do? We don't go in and start working on the numbers. You know, when you fix the people, the numbers will fix themselves. And what I want you to see today is you're a travel family. Now, how many of you guys are going to be doing trips together? Hello? Am I in the wrong room? Did I hear I didn't hear that presentation. So you're going to be doing trips together, right? Am I right? Why, no, Joe, why didn't you tell me about this before I got here? I could have brought my wife. Man, this is kind of neat when you can start doing traveling. You really get to know people, but not that you get to know them for a day or two, but you really get to build relationships, and when you go back home, you start having more connectability, and it's just amazing. As I travel the country, I find people who know someone who knows someone who knows me, or I find people who know someone that I know them. But you know what? Our life is all about relationships, and all that comes with what you started this morning, communication. Simple communication. You know, a lot of times we have communication barriers with our different ages. You know what? Sometimes some of the younger people don't want to talk to the older people. We're kind of old fogies. By the way, I'm only 56. I'm not that old, guys. Come on, you can talk to me. But you know what? It's just being honest with yourself, letting people know what you like about them, what you see in them, because the greatest thing you can ever do is encourage somebody else. And you know, just as that last question I asked you, how it made you feel, I usually get the biggest response out of that, because you know, when you're encouraging someone else, it comes back to you. But it comes back like 5-fold, 10-fold. I can't tell you exactly how much. It's the greatest thing that you can give and give and give. But you keep reaping and reaping and reaping. Just as when I was in the hospital, there I was. I was in the hospital a long time, and they were there taking care of my mom. My mom was almost 80 years old. My dad, 83 years old. Sitting there encouraging my mom and dad. There was a guy who went through a lot of health issues, and he was saying, here's what they do. They'd call in and tell my mom he's got to go to emergency surgery. My mom would say, what do I do? She's 80 years old. She wasn't really thinking right. She was stressed. And here's this young man was helping my mom. A young man. Telling my mom, here's what you need to do, this, and this. And make sure and read this before you sign that, but you need to sign it real fast. You know what? When we look at the value of each and every person and what we bring to the table, there is no age barrier. We're all people. We all have hearts. You know what? And the more that we connect with each other. I noticed as I walked down the hotel last night after I got here, and by the way, I'm the guy that if you see me in the airport, I'm talking to everybody. And by the way, I'm the guy that when I'm in the elevator alone, I'm talking to somebody. They may not be there, but I'm talking to somebody. My wife says I could even talk to a brick wall and make it talk back. But you know what? I've just learned the more you express what's in here for other people and touch their lives, it touches your life and changes your life. But not only that, so many people never hear anything good about themselves. People want to point the bad things they do, the wrong things they do. Now, I've got 3 kids. My oldest is 33. My youngest is 18 years old. Wonderful kids, fantastic kids. I have been so blessed. But sometimes they want to point out some of the things that, Dad's saying that's just not exactly right. But and it's okay. How am I going to receive that message that he gives to me? Now, if I sit there and I shun him and say, oh, son, you don't even know what you're talking about. You haven't gone through life's experiences. How's that going to make him feel? Not very good. I just wrote a book. It'll be coming out in about 3 weeks. It's called Contagious Encouragement. And it starts off with this very premise of what you've just done today. But here's the coolest thing about that. How many of you guys have a pen today? Have an ink pen? Have an ink pen? How many of you guys have paper? Anybody have paper? Here's your task for the next 2-3 days, ever how long you're here. As you go around, I want you to write, I like, draw a blank, put a comma, and then you're going to write because, and you're going to write 2 or 3 lines. And at the bottom, you're going to have a place for a signature. What I want you to do is as you're walking through the halls, as you're seeing people, you may not have the courage to walk up to someone, look in the eye, tell them what you think about them, what you like about them. Write down something you like about them. And you may not have the courage to sign it at first, and that's okay. Because just giving it to them, it says, I like Joe because. I like Teresa because. And you know what? A lot of times we think that the positions at the top, that they got all the answers. Really, a lot of times it's not. A lot of times those top positions are the loneliest positions. I have a buddy, he passed away about 2-3 years ago. When he was a young man, he was a page in the White House back in the 60s. And he said as a page, even though they had all the cleanup guys to clean the janitor guys to clean around the president's office before they left, his final job was to make sure there were no ashes in the ashtrays, no cigarette butts, no paper anywhere. His job was to quietly, not be seen, go by the president's office, pick up all that stuff in the hall, and move down the road. Well, as he was picking up the stuff out of the ashtray, he just glanced in, and he saw a president sitting there with his elbows on his knees, his head in his hands. He heard the noise, and he looked up. He saw the young page. He said, come on in, young man. Come on in. As he come in, he and the young man had about 2 minutes, 3 minutes of conversation. In just 2-3 minutes conversation, he said, I don't know what happened. I don't know why. But all of a sudden, his whole demeanor changed. He started getting more erect. Then he stood up and he shook his hand. He says, thank you, young man. I now know what to do. And he said, you can leave now. And the young man left. That was President John F. Kennedy. Now, how cool is that? We know he had some pretty tough decisions to make, don't we? Dealing with the Cold War and all that. But a young man just having conversation. Sometimes us just talking to people, we don't have to give the answers. We don't have to give the advice. We just tell people what we like. And then we give them encouragement. Encouragement is the greatest tool you have. And if you want to build long-lasting relationships, I mean real relationships, not superficial relationships. Build relationships, start talking to people from in here, not up here. Move it from here. Move it down about 6 inches. Start talking from your heart. Look them in the eyes. And you may not like something, but don't think of that. Look at them and say, you know what I like about you? I love your big heart. I love that you're an encourager. I love that you have a good smile. I love that you're a leader. When you start letting people know that, they start seeing things inside themselves and start validating themselves. And isn't that neat? When we get to be the catalyst to help change people's lives. And by the way, it's not you doing it. It's him through you, just like a conduit. But when you get to be the catalyst that's used to touch lives, change lives, And if you don't think that that's true, let me tell you a quick story. I did this about 5 years ago in a church. Young man was with his mother. He was sitting there. He was working on his little iPad. Mom was sitting there doing her stuff. I got a call 2 years later. She says, Philip, you don't remember me. But I was there in the audience. I said, yes, I remember. Yes, and you came and talked to me. I told her about her son because he was very much something you could remember. She said, yes. She said, Philip, he really loved your talk. And he always wanted to come meet you, but he never called. He never reached out to you. I always told him to, and I should have done it. But she said, Philip, last month he committed suicide. Pretty heavy, isn't it? But she said, Philip, here's what I need you to do for me. You're there in Dallas. His best friend is still in such deep depression from losing his best friend, not feeling like anybody cares about him. Will you talk to his best friend? I said, absolutely. Give me his phone number. I worked for the Zig Ziglar Corporation. I was sitting in the office. I picked up the phone and I called 30 miles away, Denton, Texas. Got the young man on the phone. You know what I did? I talked to him a few minutes, but I got in my car and I drove to Denton, Texas. And as I drove to Denton, Texas, I said, just what can I do to encourage this guy? What can I do to make a difference in his life? And just sitting there listening to him a little while, letting him talk, he could give me so much ammunition of stuff that I liked about him. Stuff that you could see that he couldn't see himself. Sometimes we get that cloud. Guys, as you build this family, as you build this, what you're doing with your travel group and that stuff, as you build this, build real relationships, long-term relationships. Age doesn't make any difference at all. It doesn't matter if you're Generation Y, Generation X, or what generation you are. We all have a heart. It's simply communication, treating people like we want to be treated. I got a quick little PowerPoint I want to show you. I had a lady say something about attitude a while ago. Let me show you something. This is what I call the performance formula. Now, how many of you would like to know the real performance formula? Can I see your hands? By the way, my name is still Coach. You got quiet. My name is still Coach. How many of you would like to really see a good performance formula? This performance formula works for business, works for sales, it works for relationships, it works for whatever you want to use it for. But let me take you to the first part of it. It is, oh my goodness. I have an actuary, I have some mathematicians. Who can give me the answer to this? A times E times S equals P. Anybody got the answer? Oh, okay, well let me help you out a little bit. Attitude times effort times skill equals performance. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I'd love to take credit for it, but it's not mine. I stole it. I stole it from Zig Ziglar. Think about it. I'm going to do it in a business situation, but you think about it in your situation here of meeting people and getting to know people. Let's say you hire a new lady. Her name is Susie. You hire Susie. You know she's got a good attitude, so you want to hire her. You know she's got decent skills. You want to hire her. You know she's going to put forth an effort, so you're going to give her a job. So you hire Susie. She goes to work. After she goes to work, first day she comes in, goes through orientation. She goes home feeling, okay, a little nervous, meeting new people. Next day she comes in still feeling the same. Third day she comes in still feeling the same. Fourth day someone starts talking to her, letting her know a little bit of what they like about her, how they encourage her. And all of a sudden, you begin to see her kind of perk up a little bit. Confidence begins to build. She begins to grow. She begins to say, wow, I have value. There's things I can do in this organization. But let's look at this part of the formula. She goes home and comes back the next week after the weekend. She has a much better attitude. Attitude is totally different. Even though she had a good attitude before, now she has a fantastic attitude. She's looking to the future. What can I do? Great attitude, loving the job, loving the people she's working with, loving the people she's doing life with, associating with. And all of a sudden, the performance goes 2 times 1 times 1, 2. She's doubled her productivity at work. So in relationships, wouldn't you like to double the amount of genuine friends you really have? Really? Real connections? Wouldn't you like to double those? Hey, the attitude formula works for that, because do we want to be around people who do not have a great attitude? I don't. But what we can do is help change their attitude. We invest in them over and over and over, trying to help them over and over, try to encourage them all we can. We're going to help them all we can. I did have a situation years ago. A young man, his name was Steve Bird. He worked for me. Kept training him, trying to get him where he needed to go. Finally, I called him in the office and said, Steve, I'm going to have to let you go. He said, well, you firing me? I said, no, I'm not firing you. I said, you voluntarily quit without notice 6 weeks ago. You've just been showing up getting a check. So I'm going to relieve you of that burden and help you go out and find another job. So Steve left my company. 2 years later, I was in Chicago, Illinois, at a big conference. And as I get to the conference, I hear this voice all across the lobby, Philip Hatfield, Philip. He comes running up. It was Steve Bird. Steve, how you doing? He looked different. Man, I am doing fantastic. I have to tell you, the talk you had with me when you fired me, the greatest talk anyone gave me. I had to look at myself and see what I was doing. He said, it's now been 2 years. I'm now the vice president and general manager of a large corporation within 2 years. You know what? It was bad to let him go, but I had to let him go so he didn't taint the other people around. But you know what? You don't want to be that person that has that attitude in this group. As you're traveling, you get to know other people. You don't want to be the person that has this bad attitude. You know, things can go wrong on your trips, right? I take trips. Things go wrong. Matter of fact, I got to the airport. I got on the airplane 5 minutes before it took off last night. Things go wrong. I travel on airplanes all the time. By the way, that's usually the way I fly is in an airplane. But let's look at it. So now Susie, she's got a great attitude. But now that she's putting forth more effort, because she has a better attitude, she says, hey, I'm going to give it a little bit more. I'm going to work a little bit harder. So that she has a better attitude, has a better effort. And what happens? Productivity goes ×4. Now, don't tell me my math is wrong. I'm sorry. It's just my simple math. Just bear with me. I'm not an actuary. But wow, 4 times the productivity in building friendships, relationships that last. Wow, or building a business. All in it. Where did it start with? It started with attitude, didn't it? Oh, but let's go another step further. Oh, but then she has a better attitude. There it goes. Better attitude, better effort. But now she says, I need to work on my skills. I want to take some more courses. I want to start listening to Automobile University. How many of you guys know what Automobile University is? Automobile University is if you live in a metropolitan area like I do, and you drive around a lot, you don't listen to the same junk on the radio all the time. You start putting good stuff in. You start listening to positive things you can grow from. Because remember, what you put in is what comes out. As Zig always says, you are where you are and who you are by what has gone into your mind. You can change who you are. You can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. It starts with attitude. Attitude helps you to build those relationships. All of a sudden, 8 times the performance. 8 times the performance of deep relationships, deep friendships, deep productivity in your work. More sales at work. Think about that. Could you not handle 8 times more friends than you have today? People who love you and care about you? I could. I can always use more. And as we were doing the exercise, I had about 8 or 9 people come up to the front, don't even know me, tell me what they liked about me. It's like, wow, they get it. They got it. It only takes 3 or 4 seconds to look at someone and say, hey, there's something valuable in that person. It's like, wow, that made me feel good. I didn't expect them to come up, but wow, it did a lot for me. It changed my attitude even more. Well, let's go a step further. Oh, let's say attitude gets even better. Effort gets better. Skills gets better. All of a sudden, 27 times. 27 times the productivity. Now, how many of you would like to have 27 times more deep friends, deep relationships, people you love, people who love you? Now, that is a network. That is a family. That is building a family. And isn't that what this is about? Isn't the name family? Isn't that what we're doing? Oh, but then let's look at it a little bit further. You know what happens? You put one negative number, right? One negative number, they all go negative. We go back to the 2 times formula. And all she did on this 2 times formula is start having a bad attitude. Effort, still the same. Skill is still the same because you can't take away the knowledge. But a bad attitude. Bad attitude goes into a negative ×8. Begin to lose relationships, lose friendships, people you really care about, people who really care about you, but because you get a bad attitude and you look at all the negative and all the problems, not having any grace, you're the one that takes the negative hit, not them. So guys, what I want to leave you with today is go encourage as many people as you possibly can. Your communication is from your heart. Say whatever you want to say from your heart, as long as it's genuine, as long as it's real. And as I teach people in business, be professional yet personable. You know, and you look at that person, and even in building relationships, be professional, but be personable. And when you do that, I like because. How many of you go do that, I like because? Okay, I need 100% participation. I need to see how many hands. You're going to write, I like blank. You're going to write their name in there. You're going to write because. Then you're going to write what you like about them. And then you're going to sign it, right? How many are going to do that? When are you going to start? Today. You're going to start as soon as I get off the stage, right? You're going to start telling people what you like about them and why. Now, gentlemen, if you come up and there's a lady you don't feel comfortable saying what you like about her, and you better not tell my wife what you like about her. But you know what? You could change it to say, I respect. I admire. You could change that word. Changing the word does a little bit of difference there, but doesn't it do the same thing? When you know you're admired, and they say that's the number one thing that men want to know that they're admired. You know what? How cool is that? So you send a note to your boss, I like you because. Then a couple of weeks later, you change it to, I respect you because. You know what? Respect is hard to earn, isn't it? I don't give respect. You earn my respect. But when you earn my respect, you've got a man who loves you, cares about you, and will do anything for you. Guys, the number one thing you have with communication is your attitude and your encouragement. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. I want to tell you one story before I get off stage. When I finally got back to work several months later, I walked into my office. I finally got my leg. I'd only had my leg 2 or 3 weeks. And by the way, when you're a one-legged guy, you have a walker, which if you have one leg, we call it a hopper. Because one-legged guys don't walk, we hop. So I had my little walker, and so I was learning to walk with this leg. It's very different. By the way, I remember the first time I tried to walk, they put my leg on me, and I'm just kind of standing there. It's like, okay, which leg goes first? If I go with this one, will that hold me? If I move this one, will it move? I stood there like 2 or 3 minutes not knowing which leg to move. But finally I made a decision and I moved. But go back to I was sitting in my office and I decided I'm going to get up and walk without my wheelchair, without my walker. So I get up out of my desk and I'm taking baby steps, coming all the way through, getting all the way up to the lobby. I get in the lobby, I get right up there, I stop for just a minute, and I panic. Plate glass door right in front of me. I look up, there's the cutest little blonde-headed girl, about 4 years old, pigtails, beautiful little girl. Her brother was right behind her. He had one of those hero dolls. You know, one of them guys, you move his arms, move his legs, he was there. Then there was mom, then there was grandma. Wait, mom and then grandma. Not mom, then grandma, mom, then grandma. And they pulled the door open. The little girl looked, she came in, she looked at me, she looked at this leg. Her eyes got big as saucers. They were huge. She looked at me, she took 3 steps, and she leaped. She literally went in the air, and bam, she landed right in front of me on the floor. She reached and grabbed this pole on my leg, and began to move it around like this. Mommy, look, it's a transformer. And her big brother, you know, he told me he was her big brother. He was 7 years old. He started moving the arms and legs as a hero guy. He says, he's the Terminator. But a little girl, 4 years old, taught me a life lesson. Bad thing just happened to me. I've still had a great attitude. I've experienced the grace of God. I get to live. I'm so happy. But that little girl taught me something. Do I want to be a transformer? Do I want to take these negative situations and let them transform me? Or do I want to take these negative things and let them terminate my goals, terminate my dreams, terminate my ambitions? Do I want to look at all the hard things to get up and get around, or do I want to look at the benefit of getting up, getting around? I got a call yesterday at 4:30 to try to be here. I was on my way to Dallas, Texas this morning. I said, well, I can't go because I've got a flight in the morning to Dallas. I'm speaking tonight in Dallas, by the way. So I said, well, I can't do that. She says, Philip, I really need you. I said, okay. So then I decided, I said, okay, get me there. So I was going to go home and go to the place I was staying and get my luggage. I didn't have time. I just drove straight to the airport. I got on the airplane 5 minutes before it took off. You know what? It was tough. It was hard. My body hurt. I'd done worked all day. I was in the traffic trying to run through airports, and finally I had to get a wheelchair because my back was hurting me. My leg was hurting real bad. So I got in a wheelchair, and I had him push me to the gate. Then I got here. Then I had him push me out in the wheelchair. You know what? Yeah, obstacles come. Life gets hard. Things get tough. But do you want to look at the negative things, or do you want to look at the positive things of, wow, I get to get on an airplane. I get to go here. I get to talk to these people. I get to try to encourage them. I get to be the one that tells you what I like about you. And do you know what I like about you? Because I see the potential of what you're doing. And I love what you're doing with your travel thing, with doing the family thing. And, buddy, I just absolutely love your presentation. I gripped my heart. By the way, I was 39 years old before I accepted Christ. My life changed. Guys, I want to ask you a question. My name is Coach. Got to give me an answer. Do you want to be a transformer or do you want to be a terminator? Do you want to be a transformer or do you want to be a terminator? Do you want to be a... Guys, I haven't heard it. Stand up. What do you want to be? Come on, stand up. Wake up. What do you want to be? Stand up. Transformer. God bless. Have a great day. Thank you, Joe.